So I'm going to leave us off mute as we go for it. And hold on, let me just make sure. One second. Let me pause this before I start. Hold on. Resume. Okay. So this is week 2. And I know that out of, I think there was 5 of you, 2 of you commented on the blogs, which was really great. And I appreciate it. And then we're going to go through the rest, or not the rest. We're going to go through like how that was like for everyone. And then also we're going to go through this week, which I'm really, really excited for. But I just had this week's lecture. Hey, Janine, is going to be a lot more interactive. So you guys can leave yourself off mute. You can be there because there's a lot more dialogue in this one. You'll kind of see why. So as I said from last week, my goal for this whole course is for you to leave here knowing what is intuition, which from last week, you guys should have a pretty good idea of what intuition is. This whole week is going to be on co-creating a relationship with her and beginning to make daily decisions from intuition. That is really going to be this week. And next week, creating a lasting, fulfilling, and sustainable success. So recap of week 1. We have intuition homework, the podcast episodes, and the application. So I'd love just to have some open dialogue of what you guys thought of the homework, if you listened to the podcast, and how like application of week 1 went.
Well, for me, it was still trying to listen to that voice and acting on it and not push it aside.
Yeah.
And trying, because there was a couple times it's like, yeah, I heard the voice and pushed it aside, and it was like, oh yeah.
So what were you doing when you like heard the voice, but you pushed it aside anyway?
I can't recall it offhand, but I do remember, it was like, you should be doing this versus doing this type of thing. Yeah, I can't. So I part of it
was, just remembered that it was like, you were like, okay, like, yeah. And you at least heard it, where before you might've kind of just like breezed past it.
Well, I mean, one was I got asked to cover a shift, like I wasn't supposed to, but it was kind of hard to say no because it was face to face instead of on the phone. And then when I went back in Sunday, it was like, I just had an intuition. It was like, she changed my schedule, and she did, and she didn't tell me. And I asked her and she said she did, but I know she didn't. And I'm not going to get into that. So I just kind of, I do know that, like I said, being exposed to the COVID thing, it was kind of irritating because I kind of heard it secondhand, not right off. So
yeah,
it was just,
so that, but that was like, was that like you applying intuition?
No, that wasn't implying intuition. It was after that. It was like, I'm going to play it safe. I'm not going to get around my neighbors, because I used to take the neighbors in. The dog likes to go visit the neighbors. And so I walked up and rang the doorbell, stepped back, let the dog go in, and, and they're fine. She just, my wife just said, well, let's watch, the next 4 or 5 days. And we're getting down on the end of that. So I think I'm okay. I don't think, so.
Okay. So what about anyone else? So Janine, Nestle, James, and Nestle, we can figure out, we can send after and figure out the email, because I emailed you 4 times. I don't know if you got any of them. I know I had them call you today. So because I didn't get your number. So anyway, did you get any of them or no? You can take yourself off mute. Nestle, do you want to take yourself off mute? Did you get any of them? You got the voicemail today? They called you though and left, right?
No.
Okay, so I told Infinity Foundation. So I emailed in the response, the email that you got. We can stay on after to see like what happened. Maybe it went to your spam folder, but like I responded to the email you sent me. I forwarded it to Infinity. Infinity forwarded it to you. I forwarded it twice again. So we'll have to see what was going on because I sent it and replied to the one you had even sent me. So we'll get it figured out. And then Janine and James, are you want to say, you can leave your thing up to, how did you guys go for week 1, the application of what we learned?
I did the body test quite a bit this week and found that very interesting. It was kind of like an odd feeling to feel like your body just move on its own without any, I don't think I was directing it at all. But
you weren't.
But the way that I could feel it throughout my whole torso made me think that I wasn't really, because sometimes you just never know if it's like your own thoughts or your own movement, or there's always that kind of like question out there. It's like, is it really being moved on its own?
Yeah, totally. What about James, and what about you, Lindsay? How did the application of what we learned go for both of you?
I didn't have much occasion to apply it, but the body test is the one that stuck out the most to me. And I think a few times, when I leaned forward almost, without trying, I kind of knew it was a cue to proceed.
Yeah. Cool. And what about you, Nisley? How did it go for applying what we learned last week?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, just like day to day.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't do it. I didn't get homework, so I was looking for stuff, so I didn't. I just came today. So, and I've been body testing since. I've been body testing since I was in my 20s. So.
Okay.
That can be very rewarding in some circumstances.
Yeah. Cool. All right. And like I said, we'll stay on after so we can get it figured out, because I can show you, like, I responded to your email and then 3 other emails like that I sent with that one. So we'll figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. So week 2, the focus is, we have 3 parts to this. Is first, we want to gain confidence in knowing which actions generate guaranteed, consistent, and predictable results. 2 is we want to stop feeling like you're always taking a risk, like that you feel like, oh, if I do this, it's going to be a huge risk, with a logical, systematic business strategy. What I mean by that is like, kind of like when you're told like, okay, if you show up to this event and you say these things, then you should get this result. An example I can share is like, I was at the park this weekend, and a woman heard that I had a podcast, and she came up to me and she was like, I just don't get how some people like you make it so quick and other people like I don't. Like, it's like you have a magic pill that we don't. And I was like, that is so fascinating. And like, I was listening to this language, right, that she was sharing, and I could automatically already see why I would have certain results, or like the business or the people that I'm teaching would have certain results, and maybe her mindset wouldn't. But she's showing up and she's doing the podcast, the same thing I'm doing. She's interviewing great people. She has great things, but it's not happening. And that's because she's trying to take risks, trying to do the thing with this logical, systematic business strategy that's not actually going to yield results, because it's not tapping into truth, intuition, connection. And number 3 is become the embodiment of your intuition by trusting yourself and your guidance system. So one question, like I said, I'm going to leave you guys all off mute for this one, because I really want this to be engaging throughout with the lecture. Okay, so how do you guys currently feel like you generate consistent and predictable results in your life? And this could be like happy relationships. This could be money. This could be clients. This could be, I don't know, finding places you like to eat, like whatever that it is. But like, how do you currently, like, what do you feel like? How do you currently generate consistent and predictable results?
I don't think I really manifest or generate those myself. I think I'm still transitioning from just letting life go Like I've gotten a job, I get up, I go to work every day, I do what's expected of me and more, and I just kind of live that environment. And I'm still going through the transition of manifesting and generating the results that I want to have in my life.
So would you say that you, let's say, generate consistent and predictable results by knowing like, okay, I'm going to work these days, this day to this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way you generate results. Or like, I know, like, I don't know if you have like someone like you text daily or weekly, or like a friend like this or something like that. Like that would be a way that you generate consistent and predictable results. You know that there's going to be a relationship you have that's consistent through these phone calls or messages, like something like that. So you do know how to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
I always expect a parking spot and I get it.
I love that.
I always do. Someone taught me some time ago, and so I went with that. And if somebody's in the car with me that doesn't have a high vibration, I ask them, shh, stop talking. They're
I love
shocked,
that.
but hush up so we can find a spot. And it works.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've had success with the parking lot thing too, where I just, I manifest a parking spot, without having to pay parking garage fees or whatnot. I don't mind taking a walk to wherever I'm at. I guess in terms of my successes, it's kind of hard to quantify. It's more a mix of.
Well, it's not success. It's just where do you generate consistent and predictable results? It can be with success. It doesn't have to be.
It's having, it's finding systems that work and just repeating those systems.
So what's that for you?
It's hard to quantify. It's more, if I have, if I'm looking for nutrition success, I take what's being taught to me, apply it. If I have success with it, I keep doing more of it. That's my goal with this intuition class, is to learn more. Like there have been times where my intuition has been very successful for me, but it's not consistent yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my goals in this class, is to learn more about it so I can, employ that and make much better decisions doing so.
Yeah. Don?
I think most of my success, if you want to call it success,
But it doesn't have to be success. Like,
I do it, but I don't consciously think about it or like manifest it or whatever. It's like I just get a feeling, like the parking spot, like I might find a coin on the ground. My biggest thing right now is animals. The intuitive feeling that I get from animals, especially my dog. He's talking to me. He can't talk to me, but he's talking to me as far as what he needs. And I gotta kind of survive, what he's wanting.
Yeah. So I love that. So I think the best, like kind of the greatest example or the best example, and which I love, is what you kind of said, Denise, was saying that, the parking spot, like a consistent and predictable result would be like, I know every day I'm going to wake up and do a 2.2 mile walk, right? That's right by me. That's a consistent and predictable result. I expect it. I know it's going to happen. I know that kind of like, my Uber drivers, they're always going to be amazing Uber drivers. And I'm always going to be friends with them on Instagram. 100% guaranteed, like never fails. Like that's a for sure. Every time I go out of my house, it is a guaranteed, consistent, predictable result that someone is going to subscribe to my podcast. It is a guaranteed and consistent result. It is a guaranteed and consistent and predictable result that every Wednesday I go to UPS and drop off my books. Like or either people bought them or like we have a giveaway on my social media and we give them away. Like that is a generated, consistent and predictable. If you were in corporate, it'd be like, I know I'm getting paid every 2 weeks, or I know that my bonus comes once a quarter. I know that my Mondays is my day where I set up my weeks, and, Wednesdays is my sales calls or whatever that it is. But you want to have these things in your life. You want to have structure, because intuition is like this. We're going to get into, it's very chaotic. very feeling based. It's like water. It's like this very feeling, moving, ever evolving construct. There's not structure to it. So you want to know, how are you going to create generated and or consistent predictable results with this intuition, right? And like one thing that you shared is like, I know that with parking meters, for me, I know that in LA, I'm always going to pull up to a parking meter that's already paid. I never am going to pay a parking meter. It's just not going to happen. It's always going to be green. It's always going to have more than enough time that I need in it. Like, that's just what it is. So you want to look at these things in your life of what feels good for you, what feels alive for you. And we talked about last week a lot, which is really big with intuition, is relationships. Relationships dictate the quality of your life. So what are you going to do to consistently and predictably leverage intuition, leverage your creativity, leverage the feeling, leverage the sensations, leverage feeling good, leverage this thing that's pulling you forward into a greater cosmic system, so that you are being like pulled by that instead of like randomly like guessing through life. Like, oh, maybe I'll go here. Maybe I'll go here. Maybe I'll do this. If you want to look, what are these things? And like, you know, what you shared is like, if someone's low vibration in the car and they're saying, I'm like, shut up. Like literally that is what it is. Like, you're not going to mess with mine. You have to look at what are these consistent and predictable results. Like, this is what I get. No one's messing with it. Move out of my way. And this is really, really important when we come to intuition, how to use it, how to leverage it. So the first part and be able to do this, right, is you have to have confidence, right? Because if you don't have confidence in your intuition, you have confidence that you can create consistent and predictable results, then you're not going to really go for it because you already don't believe it's going to happen. You don't believe you're worthy, right? So I'd just love for you guys to spitball or to share, how is confidence formed? There's not a right or wrong answer, just kind of sharing.
When you have success with what you did,
Mhm.
kind of begets more success. You start getting confident in your abilities.
Okay.
You keep doing it. You know, if you hit a snag, then sometimes that deflates your confidence.
Yeah.
That's where I was going, was the more you do it, like it's practice. And so the more practice you do, the better you get at it, the more results you get, the better results you get, which just enhances your confidence more.
Okay. What else?
Guess mine would be feeling based more. If you do something and it feels good, you're probably going to do it again and
Mhm.
continue to do it again.
I like that. You want to go?
If I'm led intuitively to do something, then I know it's a given because I've been told what to do.
Yep. I love that. So confidence is formed. Some things I put is when we feel congruency with what is happening within us and our external reality. So I love what you shared about knowing, right? Congruency means what's happening inside of me. No one can know that but you. There's not a doctor. There's not a machine. There is nothing in the world. There's not a coach. There's not a mentor. There's not a guide. There is not anybody in the world who can tell you what's happening in here. Only you can do that. You can pay hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've seen people pay millions of dollars to find out, you know, what they be told. They want to be told what's happening in here because they don't want to do the work themselves. And it doesn't work like that. Congruency is only something when you know what's happening here, you're being present. And we're going to go through that. And you're then being that. You're not just feeling this and you're being what's happening in here is what's happening outside. Right. So like, I couldn't really let me think about this. Like I couldn't teach on intuition or I couldn't teach digital courses, right? Unless I felt like a calling. There was a thing of freedom of why I love technology. Like it'd be very incongruent if I hated technology, but I'm using technology. Like that doesn't make any sense, right? It would be very incongruent if I was like, I don't know if I do have feelings of anxieties at times and I'm like, oh no, I don't have any anxiety. I'm totally perfect and totally whatever. That would be incongruent. And that every time you're incongruent, every time you feel something in here, and this could be like knowing your boss didn't tell you something and they're saying they did, and you don't express that. It doesn't have to be in a intense way or dramatic way or whatever way, but anytime you don't feel a congruency of what's happening here and you don't express that, you're creating a gap in your confidence because you're basically saying, I don't trust myself enough to back myself, to trust myself. Like for an example, I know that I'm always going to get a parking spot. So shut up because it's not going to whatever. It sounds like mean, but it's not mean because I'm confident. I'm going to be congruent with what's happening in here. I'm going to express that. So that grows my confidence because I'm showing my intuition, my relationship with myself, that I trust myself, I back myself, and I don't care if it causes friction for a moment for what I know to be true. And that intuition is always that knowing. And anytime you betray that knowing that you have internally, you're going to lose confidence. You're causing a disease within you. So the other thing that confidence that it's created is when you say you're going to do something and you're going to follow through. So like, for an example, I said I was going to do this course, right? Well, many courses that I do, but I said I'm going to do this course, right? And so let's say if I came and I wasn't prepared, I had nothing done. I just was like, all right, guys, like, then I kind of was like dilly-dallying. There was no information. There was no like thoughtfulness. There was no whatever, like that wouldn't build my confidence, right? Because it's basically, I said I was going to do something and I didn't follow through. So every time you say that you're going to do something, even if it's like, I'm going to do a post, I'm going to make this time and do a journal, I'm going to take this time and meditate, and you don't follow through, there is a psychological loss of confidence within you. There's a psychological loss of trust of yourself. So, we're going to practice this because I really want to do this in a way of sharing what we do and who we are. So we kind of did this a little differently before, but I want to share this in this way. So, right, if I go, hi, my name is Colleen Gallagher, and I am a digital course creator, and I have an online coaching education company. Okay, that's like true, right? And you can feel that. And if I go like, hi, my name is Colleen Gallagher, and every day I'm super excited to help people fall in love with life because I had cancer at age 14. And it really made me realize that when people don't live a life they love, what ends up happening in their life. And from this, I've created all these educational resources that really guide me to support others in their journey to freedom and love. You can tell one has much more confidence. There's more emotion. There's more backing. There's more trust in myself. And what we're trying to do in this part one, or what I want you to see, is when you're trying to do things like linearly, like when I'm like, hi, my name is Colleen, this is what I do. Like when you do that, right? And I said it in a way on purpose. There are times I say it when you can really feel connected to it. This time I did it intentionally, but when you're doing it, like I'm showing up and doing the thing, but of course it's not going to yield the result. You don't feel my heart. You don't feel my presence. You don't feel that knowing of like, this is why I'm here. Do you guys feel that? Do you feel the difference in confidence just by the same thing?
Yeah, there was night and day, like scenario one versus scenario two.
Yep.
Saying.
So we're all going to do it. So
compelling.
each of you are going to do it right now. So James, you going to go first?
I guess so. All right. Hi. Should I do like what, like linear and
Whatever you want.
All right. So let's see. I'm James McCluskey. I'm the host of the Jimmy Daytona Show, where I highlight the stories of interesting people I've met in my travels over the last decade, and share their success stories, fun adventures, and great ideas to help you propel your life forward.
So amazing. How did that feel?
It just rolled off the tip of my tongue. I just didn't rehearse it or nothing.
So that was total intuition. I could feel that. And I know that I know you, but other times when you said like who you are, like it feels like I'm not really sure, but that was intuition. That was like feeling guided and led. It just rolled out of me. There's no strategy. There's no like secret thing of here's how to introduce yourself. Here's how to whatever. It just came. And that's intuition.
Wow. I love it.
Do you feel it though?
I definitely felt it.
Okay. Did anyone else feel it?
From what he said, yeah, that was pretty good. I like that.
All right, who wants to go next?
So you're just speaking aloud what you want.
Who you are and what you do right here. Practice, so sharing what you do and who you are.
I'm Denise Williams. I am the master hooptress. I teach weighted hooping classes to various musical genres so that the participants can learn to align, balance, and choreograph their movements within their nervous systems, confidence, and knowing.
Okay, I love it. Do it again from like, if there was no like construct, like no one needed to understand, like if it was just like you speaking, like do it. Like, so I feel like that was a very good one. It was like, I really got a good comprehensive understanding. And now I just want you to like, if it was just totally random, like you're just literally like in your own head, what would you say?
I teach class, and I use my hoop, my weighted hoop, and teach people, women mostly, how to do it like me or like themselves, if they can understand how to co-create with energy in a hoop.
I like that. Okay. So the first one, did you guys feel the difference in those two?
Mhm.
Yeah, you guys. So the first one, it felt like very like, which is what we talked about here, is like what we'll be getting to the next one, is like, it felt very like business strategized. Like, this is who I am. Here's the technical parts of the nervous system and this and that. The second one, when you're like with women and they know how to hoop and this, like, it felt more just raw. Like, it felt relatable. It didn't feel like it was like this rehearsed thing. It felt like I could really connect with you. And I was curious. I was like, well, how would you do that with a hoop and a woman? Like, I got more curious. With the other one, it was like, okay, great. Like, that's awesome. And like, I don't know if I would have like kept going. Like, I don't know if I would have made a connection, because it was like, I didn't feel the intuition like flowing from you. Does that make sense?
Okay, because the second one was my portrayal, if I didn't give any about it. Yeah, like whatever. That's what the second
it's
one
like,
was.
it felt like the second one felt more like, the first one felt like a rehearsed part, which is like not intuition. It's like, it felt like this like very business strategy, right? With just this whole week is on like, how do we get predictable results or consistent results? And if we've been taught, right? It's not anyone's fault here. We've been taught to do it in that way. Like, right, when I went to business school, it was taught like, here's how you do, here's how to network, here's how to introduce, which is great, but you're missing that intuition. You're missing that heart. You're missing that soul. Like, I remember, last week when you're like, I'm a medicine woman and I did it. Like, I could feel like that second part of you where you're like, yeah, with women in the hoop in there, if they can do it, like, I could feel more like, that's curious. I could feel like what you said. It was not that you didn't give a fuck, but it was just more raw. It was more just open. It was more like, oh, I'm just free and whatever is happening and coming through. And that is what's going to create consistent and predictable results, because people can feel it oozing out of you. Does that make sense?
Well, what I'm going to say is, in order for that to be portrayed that well, the first time I gave a whole lot of fucks, and the second time I gave no fucks.
Yeah. So for you,
the second one was like, wee. And I'm saying it's not a problem, because the second one I'll need to go to that, because mostly I'm very terse. And when I explain it to someone, so you're telling me that it's too terse, then I'll give them that devil may care presentation so that I can da them towards.
Exactly. Because like, so let's say like, and like, let's say, and we're going to get into this in the next slide, but I'm just doing this because I wanted this to be a live one throughout the whole thing. But when you're at a presentation, we're going to go through this and someone's like telling you like, I'm this, and I have this, and I do shamanic work and a nervous system and and you're like, it's not so much of like, it's like, wow, that's really cool. But it doesn't go to that heart brain. Like, doesn't connect to that heart, it just goes to the mind. And it's like, okay. And if you have a whole day of networking or event where people are coming at you like that, you're like, like not in a bad way. It is what it is. Like, we just don't remember it. Where if you're like, I'm a medicine woman, I do this hoop thing, I was like, remember that woman who did like hoop thing? That was so different than anyone else. Like, did we get her Instagram or we get her Facebook? I'd love to like look at her work. Like, that's, that would be what is memorizing, because it's coming from soul. It's coming from intuition. It's coming from an inner knowing if that's truth, not of what you're supposed to do.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Dawn, Janine.
Okay, I'll go. You want the not so great first?
Do it either one. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. So my kind of like rehearsed elevator speech is, I help small business owners market their businesses through written content.
Mm-hmm.
So that's books, blogs, guest blog posts, published articles in online and offline magazines, email campaigns, just like the written content on that's more digital and printed.
Now let's do intuition.
Oh my gosh, thank you for asking. I get to spend my time helping people market their businesses through their words, because through relationships in my life, I've really come to learn that it's the words that either drive people to connection or drive people to dissension. So by the choice of the words that you use, either create and build your relationships, or they break down and tear your relationships. And you can either heal or you can hurt with your choice of words.
That. I think for you, like the whole thing of just relationships of like, I've learned, like when you said like, I've learned, and you could even say, I've learned, you could say whether it was heartbreak or divorce or trauma, or I'm just giving examples. I don't want to like share what, I mean, you can share your own piece, but I would say
it's very opposite to what the entrepreneur world like talks about and teaches. Like, you've got to have a 30-second elevator speech. You've got to have this, you've got to have that.
But when you think about that, which we're going to get into, when you think about that, how many entrepreneur things have you guys all been to, or business meetings, and people have done that? And do you remember them? I don't think I could remember one person who I've learned who's done that. I can't tell you one.
No, I haven't gotten anything from all the networking I've ever done. I've never gotten anything.
Yeah. So I love what you shared that, hold on. I think, okay. I love what you shared that, can you see me or hear me?
Did you freeze?
Yeah, I feel like I did. Hold on.
Yeah, your video is not moving.
Okay, well, let me turn it off. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Is it back? Okay, I was like, but yeah. So I think what I like what you shared is when you said relationships, and I would just add like a more vulnerable part into it. Like, I realized through blah relationship, through blah whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be a big story, but whatever that it was, and this became important to me because you're like, oh my God, I've totally went through that. So there's that. And I really like the ascension, descension. And I think yours would change every time because you're a word person. So you're already intuitive. And we'll get into that. You're a feminine, you're receiving people's field and going to say it. But it just felt more like you were at home in your body. So I liked that.
Yeah.
All right, Don.
Hi, I'm Don. I'm a writer, and I share stories through fantasies and with people to help them improve their lives and grow.
Wow, fantasy. Tell me about that. Like, I was captivated there.
And that's all I got.
You guys captivated?
I'm wondering, is it fiction or nonfiction by fantasy? Yeah, that's exactly.
I was captivated. I was totally good. Like, that was great. Okay, so cool. So do you guys kind of get can you feel like when you're doing it more in the way, I don't want to say not that you give a F, but as you said, not that, but when you're doing it more in a way, if you're just free and you're flowing, do you see how there's more confidence that exudes from you? Because you don't feel like you're trying to say something to get something. You're just being. Mm-hmm. That's intuition. And that's your inner knowing. That's like the congruency. Like, this is who I am in here. This is what's happening. And I'm just like a stream of water, just sharing it. A stream of consciousness just coming out. There's no like, I need to dress it up in a way. Just, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Does that feel alive for everyone with confidence, or is there any questions on confidence?
No, I know for me, there was a voicemail recorded, like my message on my voicemail that people listen to when they get my voicemail. I had one that was a little bit more lengthy, but it was also more recorded with more gratitude. Like, I was very appreciative of them contacting me and wanting to collaborate and get in touch with me. And that's when I got the most compliments. I got so many people raved about, my voicemail message and how great it was. I had a couple people that complained about how long it was, but I think the result was the fact that it was in gratitude. And because I was appreciative of them calling and contacting me, it showed more confidence too.
I love that. And it's funny because I have something similar. My voicemail is, hey, please don't leave me a voicemail. I hate voicemails, so I never listen to them. If you could please text me or email me, that's the best way to get a hold of me. I hope you have a great day. Like, that is mine.
I like that too.
Like, Colleen, you're the nicest person, and saying like not what to do. But that's like really how it was. And so, but it was still confident. I just was like, I don't freaking like voicemails. I do not want to have them. This is the best way. Like, it is what it is. But I did it not because like to be annoying. Genuinely, I do not like voicemails. But that's a great example. And that's how confidence is. Like, whatever your desire is, whatever's happening, you like, don't shame yourself. Just, it is what it is, and just communicate it. And this can be good or bad, but that's still intuition. Like, I felt intuitively like I intuitively am not making up. I do not like voicemail. I do not like it. It's annoying. I hate it. You have to sit there and press a button and re-listen and delete, and then it gets full, and it's annoying. Like, you just text me or email me, you know what I'm saying? And then you call them back. You don't know who it is. If it's a number, you've got to, it's like a whole chaos. I just hate it. So like, I say it very nicely, right? And I give other options, but like, that is confidence, because I'm not forcing myself to do something like a voicemail, which I don't want to do.
You're telling them up front, you're probably not going to get a call back from me.
Well, yeah, and just don't leave me a voicemail, because I'm not going to listen to it.
Yeah,
So
and I'm probably not going to listen to it, so you're not going to hear back from me, so don't do it.
Yeah. So the thing that kind of what I want to share, and this is what I wanted to go into with what you shared about kind of the nervous system and everything. So what do you enjoy the most, right? Do you enjoy when you have to listen to a long strategy meeting, when you're reading a long strategy book? Here's the strategy. Here's the secret sauce. Here's the things we got to do. Here's an organizational meeting. Here's what we've got to meet about and organize about and get together about. Right? Do you enjoy that? I've personally never enjoyed that. I'm like, this is a freaking waste of my time to have to stay here for an hour and listen to whoever it is talk about whatever they're doing, because if I was interested, I would like do this on my own time, not like be forced to do this when I could be doing other things. Right? Or do you enjoy being meditated, being guided, being led? When you're like chosen, like, okay, I could go to this webinar, or I could go sit in the park in nature. There's a long strategy meeting, or I could just doodle in my own paper in my own mind to create whatever. Like, what do you enjoy the most, right? You very rarely, I would highly guess, you very rarely enjoy a strategy meeting that you're forced to do, that you're forced to listen to. Like, it's like this cookie cutter of like, as a company, or even in finance, right? Like my finance guys, like they'll be like, hey, this is what we see in the market. Here's there. I'm like, great. I'm happy that's what you see in the market. These are the companies I care about. So here's where we're investing my money, right? I don't care whatever the strategy is. Like, this is what I'm interested in. So I'm going to invest what I know and what I follow. I'm not going to invest in some strategy that even though it's Merrill Lynch, some strategy of your big company that has all these AI things. I don't feel that. So I'm not going to do it. Right? So what do you enjoy the most? It's always back to the feeling. It's always back to guided. It's always back to what is happening in here, congruency, confidence. And from in here, am I communicating that, or am I letting it slide? And remember, every time you feel something in here and you let it slide, you are losing confidence. When you're losing confidence, you're breaking apart the relationship with you and intuition. Just like as if you were breaking, like think if you were in a relationship with your partner, or with a spouse, or with your parent or your sibling or whatever. Right? If you were to lie every time you lie, even if it's a small lie, right? You're still you're creating a barrier in the relationship. You're creating a separation between you and them, because you aren't being truthful. You aren't being honest. And if you're not being honest in a relationship, there can be no relationship, because now you're building something on lies. You're building it on a false foundation. Same as with intuition. If you feel something internally, yourself, your own self, and you're depleting, depressing, ignoring your own self, and you're forcing yourself to go into this life strategy, the matrix, the paradigm, this is how to do this to get that result, you're lying to yourself and breaking the relationship with yourself. Does that make sense?
It put into words what I've been thinking for a while, just because it's like, when you try to do things the cookie cutter way, I mean, it may make sense on the surface, but when you apply it to your own life, it just doesn't add up.
Yeah. Like we went back to, when have you ever been somewhere when someone's like, okay, like, someone who gets like a super long coffee order that's like super annoying, and you're like, you can just tell you're doing this just to be cool. Like, you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just trying to do this to think you're like some bougie cool person. And then there's the actual person who's like, I want the lavender spice with a pickle of this or whatever that is. And you're like, who are you? Like, do you make something so cool? Like, how did you even just say that so elegantly and artistically? Like, you could tell that it just flew out of them, right? It's the same thing, but the application was, one came from the intuitive, guided, nudge led, and one was manufactured.
Gotcha.
And every time in your life, when you bulldoze past something, like, here's an example, right? The email thing, right? So there's something with the emails that we're going to get it fixed after this class, right? But let's say if I would have showed up to class, right? And I knew this was an issue, or it became an issue, and I didn't say anything, right? That would have been breaking trust in the relationship, even if there was already what appeared to be like trust, right? Because I had to address there was an issue. There was something that happened intuitively. I felt it intuitively. I was guided. So you had to address it. If I didn't address it, right, then I'm breaking trust with myself. Even though I didn't do anything wrong, she didn't do anything wrong. There's just clearly something with the emails, but you have to address that from your intuition feeling, from that nudge. Otherwise, when you don't do it, I'm just manufacturing like, oh, I'll just bulldoze past it and da da da. It doesn't feel good. There's it's like bridging the gap in separation. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you intuitively, this could be good. It's not like good and bad. This could be like something that's in flow and also something that's conflict, right? Or not, but that's the two words, like conflict resolution. So you want to look where in your own life, what I want to say is where in your own life right now are you doing things because you think you have no other option, even though you don't want to do it. So like, for an example, I can give you my example, right? Was like when I worked in corporate, I hated rush hour. I hated rush hour. And I thought there was no other option. Well, then it came to me, and I will teach you, the idea, the thing, the whatever came to me that what if I was to go to my manager and say that I come in early and I can leave earlier. So I totally miss rush hour. Well, changed my life. So this is an example. What are things that you're doing? Like, what is one thing each of you are doing in your life right now that you know it's causing a disruption in your confidence and your intuition? You're doing it because you think you don't have another option.
Working a job.
Okay. I
My
love it.
current job.
Okay.
But there's a process to get out of it because I like having a roof over my head and a car to drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I have aspirations, but I also have a sequence in which I want to do them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dawn, what about you?
All I can say is amen to that.
Okay.
What they
That's why
just
we're all
said,
here.
what they just said.
That's funny. Okay, what about you, Denise?
Okay, so the typicality of working, I no longer do. So I want to grow as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And I love what each of you said with even the job. And there's something I can actually send you guys the video. I can send it, but there's a guy who I really like is what makes you think though that a job has to be part of your process? What if there was a way that you could just transition? This is who I am. This is what I be. And here's what I'm going to share with the world and just make it happen. And I'm going to do that 1 hour a day and make access the amount of money that I'm making now. And it's a total paradigm shift because intuitively, you know that you don't need that job. Intuitively, you know what you need to be sharing. Intuitively, you already feel where you're called. You already feel where you're guided, but you're not doing that. So you're breaking trust and confidence with your own self, which is why you have that narrative. So intuition, leadership actions, there's masculine and there's feminine. This is going to be the core of this of how do we know which actions to take one in from a masculine intuitive perspective and a feminine, because there's not a bad way. And I don't want there, as we're kind of rising, you'll look at different leaders. Feminine leadership is going to be a term that's used more and more and more. And feminine does not just mean women, it's like in men as well. But I want to go through both because predominantly in life or how the world has ascended to this far, we've had a masculine leadership and now we're balancing into masculine and feminine. So leadership actions that are intuitive from the masculine way is going to be inspired action. It's anytime you act into doing. So this would be when you write and share a post. This would be when you, when I said, I'm no longer going to be in rush hour traffic, I'm going to come in early. That was an inspired action to talk to my manager. It was when I, created my company. It's when I create any program, like this is inspired action. Masculine is doing the material thing. So there's manifestation, right? Or there's intuitively when you feel something from the quantum field, from space, which is feminine. And then masculine is the doing of the material thing, like doing this PowerPoint, the creation, the idea of this PowerPoint, right? That was feminine. The doing the material thing is masculine. The showing up here is the masculine thing. The receptivity of the information is feminine. It's really important because you cannot do one without the other. It happens almost simultaneously, and that's why it's important to not isolate them, but it's good to know them both. So the intuitive leadership masculine is doing it. So when you're not doing intuition, a masculine would basically doing like you're just doing a job because you think you have no other option, or you're just doing a relationship because you're hoping, praying maybe one day it'll get better. you're just doing whatever, but the masculine is always doing the material thing, but it has to be led and guided from the inspired action. If it's not, then you're just going into unconscious, which isn't bad. It's just the way it is. Okay. Masculine, attending the events, attending the training. This is really important because as we just did in the very beginning, you can say what you do. You can say like the networking part, you can attend all the events you should be attending, but you still won't get somewhere. Intuitive leadership action is that like you are attending the event because you're guided and you're called, because you know it inside of you. Back to congruency with confidence. Even if you're so nervous, you have no idea why you're there. You feel like you might be this, not smartest one in the room. Maybe you might not even look the same as anyone else, whatever that it is, but you still feel like you're just meant to attend the event or the training. You just know it so deep inside of you. It's just this thing that you cannot deny. Masculine is presence. Intuitive leadership for masculine, you have to be present with yourself and you have to be able to be present with others, right? So if I was sitting here and I was listening to each of you, there's a masculine part of this. I receive you when I'm saying it, but if I wasn't being present with what you're saying, I'm not being intuitively masculinely led. You have to be able to be present to really hear what people are saying, but also feel beyond the words, feel what's happening beyond the words, right? So like I could hear, and we'll kind of go into more when we're talking about the medicine woman and also the body. There's things about like embodiment, the body that I think that there's language there that could go that would really enhance it, right? Janine, there's things with the relationship of really saying like, okay, bringing up, this is why the relationship became important to me. And this is where that wording is. James, I loved the podcast. I could feel like the Jim and Taytona show, like over the past decade of my travel and interesting people, and you could name drop a couple of people, but like why that came important, like where you see yourself. Don, like what fantasies? Well, I actually had a fantasy like 2 hours before I came here, a mystical experience, whatever that it was. And this is what that was like, that, like you going into that, but that's being present to share whatever it is, like to really, to be present with yourself of what you're experiencing, and then listening to other people so you can respond in a way that adds value to everyone around you. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, masculine selling, intuitive and selling. Selling is not a bad thing. You are always selling. You are always selling. You're always selling. You're always selling. You're always selling. I don't care what anyone says. You are always selling. This is masculine. Moving the body into a state of action, which is what we we've shared a little bit here. That is really important because masculine, we have inspired action, doing material, but actually the momentum is masculine. So it's when you're automatically let's say brushing your teeth, right? That's an automatic habit. The masculine intuitive leadership be like, okay, I'm no longer allowing myself to have the belief that I have to go to work to make money. Instead, I'm saying I have 90 days, 60 days, 6 months. This is the cutoff date of this. And the whole time I'm just getting this paycheck. This is now what I'm doing. So I'm moving my body here, but my heart and my soul is going into here. It's being guided and led to this creation, to this leadership, to this whatever that I'm creating. It's it's interrupting the automatic habits and simulation your body's going into. So you actually are moving it in flow with your intuition and flow with what you're feeling internally. Any questions about masculine before we go to feminine?
All right. So like, so intuition involves a fair amount of your body's a lot more active than it otherwise would be.
Yeah.
Is it more like, is it more exercise? Is it more getting shit done? What would like?
It could be all of it because it's intuitive. You're trying to fit it into a logical thing, right? It's not like that. So let's say if your body, right? Let's say you and I were going to run a marathon. Probably how you and I are going to train for a marathon we're going to have to move our body into a state of training that, but how we do that is going to be wildly different based on what you intuitively feel and what's being guided internal to you and what I am being guided to. So you
Gotcha.
can't say like, is working out, is that moving it, right? The interruption to the pattern, like with, when I say I was in a corporate job. So for each of you, it would be like the interruption to the pattern would be like, this is no longer my job. This is a paycheck that I get. This is how much I'm saving. This is what I need for my bills. And this is what's going to making the intuitive thing that I need, that I feel called and guided and led to. God, source, universe, allow this money to make it happen and tell me how I'm going to sell and make this money work for whatever that it is. But the pattern interruption for each of you, like the body, this movement of the stopping of the body, like this is me going to work now. This is me going to my job. Like that body movement, like that thought to body is interrupted. Like this is my paycheck. This is where my body's focus is. This is where I'm feeling and giving energy for my body to give information to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Like I no longer was like doing my job and being like, I'm going to make this much commission. I still did make a lot of commission, but it wasn't like, I was like, my body, I'm a writer, I'm an author. I'm sitting here writing my books. I'm doing my yoga. I'm doing my meditation. Like I literally interrupted the pattern. This was no longer my job. It was just money to get me here. My body was fully committed here.
Oh, I see. So like, you know, you kind of mentally view your job as a paycheck, but your heart is, you know, with your aspiration.
Your body, your full body, like you're not anymore going like, I'm going to work. Like you have this automatic habit. We all do. Like we have this automatic habit of I'm going to go to my job. I'm going to go to whatever, you know, let me get ready. Like we don't even think about it. It's unconscious. The body's asleep. It's unconscious. You have to wake the body up. You have to move it. You have to like feel it. Okay. This is not a job anymore. This is no longer what I'm doing. The job is my podcast. The job is what I'm here. This is now clothes that I'm putting on to get a paycheck, but these clothes now are for me as the Jimmy Daytona host. This is my job. This is who I really am. That's like interrupting. That's the masculine. Like it's like that discernment, like inspired action. Here's what is happening, but this is who I am. It's like identity. This is what's happening. Like moving your body into the direction of where it's going.
I see. Gotcha.
And it is like that aggressive, like sometimes when you're breaking this, because it's a simulation. You're in an unconscious simulation. It's like a hamster almost running on a wheel. That's like, you can't quite get off, even though you could just step off, but you have to choose, you have to choose the body to step off. That's the masculine, intuitive leadership. Any other questions? Okay. Oh, relationship maintenance. That's the last one. So relationship creation is going to be feminine, but relationship maintenance is masculine. This means like follow up, follow through, connection. Okay, I'm thinking of that person. I hope they're well. I'm thinking of this client. I'm journaling of this client. I'm inviting this person that I know would care about this, whatever that is. I'm emailing, I'm following up, whatever that it is. All right, feminine, being. Feminine is being. So feminine would never be like, I'm going to my job, right? And I need to literally be, I'm no longer going to the job. This is where I'm going. This is where I'm moving. Feminine is strictly being. It's just, I'm here. I'm in my body. I feel centered. I feel at peace. I feel at home. I feel yummy. I feel delicious, whatever that it is. It's just being with what is. If I'm angry, if I'm anxious, it's just being. There's no like frustration. There's no anger. There's no whatever. Like, it's just being. Meditation. Feminine is meditation. It's connecting to the quantum. It's connecting to the field. And what I mean by the quantum, it's just when you close your eyes, you breathe, you can connect into a field. Can feel like spaciousness. You can feel a field of something happening. You can feel energy moving through and without you. You can just move with it. Meditation is just the space that's non-physical, and you can feel connected. Meditation can be stillness as well, but it's still, you're connecting into space. Listening. Feminine is listening, and intuition is feminine. It's both of these, but it is primarily a feminine frequency because she's communicating to you. It's a communication channel. If you don't listen, like, right, if you're not hearing what's inside, what's happening in here, like, hey, I know you didn't tell me that, even though you're saying you did, like, hey, could you share with me where you told me that? I don't remember that. Well, I told you to, okay, well, I'd really appreciate for the future, because I'm, really trying to organize some different things. Could you email me when you make those changes so I can physically see it? Or text me. I'd really appreciate that change of, action if you could do that. Just nice with heart, with soul. But listening, like, that doesn't feel good in here. You don't need to say it, but I don't feel good. So I'm going to have my back. I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust my intuition. I'm going to have my own back with my own relationship with intuition so I can go where I need to go. Because it's not going to be here forever. I don't need to say that to this person, but it's listening. And then that leads into the inspired action, the material doing, the communication, the relationship maintenance, the selling, the changing of the state of being. Ideas. The feminine is the ideas. It's the million ideas of I could do this and I could have this and I could do this color and this could work and I could drive over here and I could do that and I could do whatever. Like, it's the million things. Feminine is the creation of marketing, writing, outlines. Feminine is creation. It's like from the creative state, from the writing, from the marketing. Selling is the masculine. Marketing is the feminine, because marketing is the brand. It's the essence. It's the feeling. It's the core. It's the movement. Selling is like, this is the offer. This is what's happening. Here's the connection. Here's the way to get involved in the connection. Feminine is like, okay, here's the idea. I feel in this field, but I have this crazy, insane, beautiful idea that I'm so pumped and thrilled about. And here's what I'm going to write about it. Here's a video, here's an outline, or here's the book, or here's the journal, or here's the product, or here's the free summit. Here's what needs to happen. It's the total creation. Feminine is chaotic. Masculine is systematic, linear. Feminine is absolute water, chaotic, crazy. You cannot measure it. It cannot make sense. It is a total feeling. You can't make sense. Like, why are you angry? Sure, this thing happened, but I'm just angry. I'm feeling like it's like feelings have no logic. It's just a thing. It just is here. It's just presence. Why is the sun the way it is? Sure, I could look up a million things. It just is, like, I don't need to look it up. I could just trust that it is. Why is my, X, Y, and Z. Why are they like this? Why are they combative? I don't know, but that's just the way that they are. It's chaotic. It's whatever. So what can I do to support and management of this? What can I do to support in the, craziness to beauty of this? It's just total chaos. Feminine is connection. You have to feel connected to what you're doing. Like when you're like, I'm going to my job, I don't think any of you feel connected. You're like, but that's what I have to do to pay my bills. Well, is it? Could you just connect into the quantum field, and could you connect to the idea, and could you ask for guidance of how you're meant to make the money in less amount of time? If I did that connection consistently over a week or 60 days, I'm sure there'd be an idea that comes. There just have to be. Right? Consistency and predictability. If I knew without a shadow of a doubt, like I'm always going to get this parking meter, why can I do that with money or ideas? If I knew that every 2 weeks I get paid, why can't I do that with my own way of getting paid every 2 weeks and my own type of thing? Why can't I create an idea that does that? A payment plan. If I know that I'm in a process or in a sequence, or I'm saying that to get out of a job, why can't I just create a connection with myself for my own sequence that I want sooner, faster, quicker, with greater results? So these generate guaranteed, consistent, and predictable results when you mask these two together. And this is when you put these two together is intuition leadership. This is how you will generate consistent and predictable results. This is how I know like how much money that I'm going to make months in advance because of the payment plans, because of memberships I have, because of things that I'm launching. Does this make sense, or is there any questions here?
Alexa, turn on the light. Okay.
Anything?
It makes sense to me.
Okay. Do you guys see how it applies, like real moment? So like James, when you're like, I haven't had a chance to apply it, but you have a chance every moment to apply it.
Yeah.
For me, it's like when you were talking about, you know, the job and changing out of the job mindset into the fact that that's just your paycheck. It's like, it was reminding me of when, you know, people ask me what I do and stuff. I usually still say, well, I'm a legal secretary by day. By night, I'm a freedom builder. And then they ask more about that. But I'm still identifying myself as a legal secretary with my day job.
Yeah, why?
Because that's what I spend most of my time on.
But I would, and
Yeah.
even that, I would change the narrative, right?
Yeah.
There has to be a point when it's just a disassociation. Like I would just be like, oh, I'm in a corporate job. I'm starting my own thing. Like, I think there's a point where it's like, I'm the love girl. I just want to know that love is whatever. Here's the day that I'm leaving. I'm so excited. Right. And even when I was like traveling the world, like there just has to be a line in the sand. Like I know it sounds aggressive, but in a reality, if it's your relationship with yourself, like, right. Think if you were in any of you, some of you are in relationships, but any relationship, right. Especially if it was like the love of your life, right. You wouldn't want the love of your life to be like, oh, you know, with them by day and, you know, in my own time. And it was like, you'd want them to claim you. Like I am with the love of my life. And I'm so excited. And we do these so many great and fun things together. Like, and that's how it should be with your intuition. Cause that's the relationship with yourself. And if you don't claim that internally, which is what we talked about confidence, you don't have that thing of, I am a freedom builder. And like, I do these things like, and you don't claim that. How could you're not even teaching other people how they could claim you. Cause you aren't even having that congruency with self. So think of your intuition. It was like this great love affair with you. And from that, what you want, this emotional connection with the world, that can only happen when you claim it in here first. And then once the claiming here, then it can be pushed through. And like everything else, just like little things, like obviously don't lie. I wouldn't lie and say like, whatever, but if it's not relevant, why would I bring it up?
Mm-hmm.
Does that resonate, or do you guys feel that?
Mm-hmm. It does for me, because it's a matter of how I'm identifying with myself, and I'm still identifying with myself as having a full-time job.
Yeah, and
that is showing
that
that is already showing that that's more important than the other. And I'm
Yeah.
waiting for that shift to come, but I'm waiting for that shift to come monetarily.
But you have to choose it first.
Yeah.
You have to, which is what we talked about in the first one, right? You have to be the leader of your own life. It's not, there's not a magic fairy that's going to come. Like you have to claim it. And from you claiming it, then it will happen.
And you have to set up the avenue for it to come.
Yeah. Right. Like if I waited, if I think about it, if I would have waited to write my book to be financially stable, if I would have waited to say that I was a love girl, if I would have waited, right, I would still be in New Zealand. Like I wouldn't have even traveled the world and been everywhere I've been. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to claim it, and I had to spend, I didn't have $5,000. Well, I did have $5,000, but that sounded like so much money for, a week in Fiji. But I did that, and I really claimed it there. And I didn't care. There's other entrepreneurs. Like I was like, that were like organizational leaders of $10 million companies. I was like, oh my shit. Like, I'm just this girl who wants to spread love in the world, but I still claimed that. And when I claimed that, that's what brought me where I am, right? And I did it every step of the way, but that's the feminine masculine, right? The feminine, I knew something needed to change. I felt connected to this thing, inspired action to spend $5,000 in this event in Fiji that changed my life, right? That was there. Then I learned selling, then I learned this, and then it just keeps going. And now it's bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So something like claiming is like very, I don't want to say smaller, but it's different ways. It's smaller ways. Like a smaller example now would maybe be like, am I claiming that I did a podcast on it today, so I guess I could share, am I claiming that, let's say, I want a more structured and stable relationships and just let's do this or that, or random, I want to hey, this is my week. This is your week. What's happening? That's something that I want, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I feel called and guided to. So I'm going to communicate that. That was what I felt. I connected to it. Now I'm masculinely doing the action. I'm masculinely sending that. that was not going to happen. I'm not going to have a stable structured relationship in clients, in business, even in business where I want to go more stable and structure. And I feel like I have a lot of stability and structure. I want to even go more to the next level now. If I want that, like, I have to choose it first.
Mhm.
I have to create that first and say that, like, that's actually not going to work for me. This is going to work for me.
I think with congruency, there is sometimes like if I let a day get away from me, or if I don't spend enough time doing what I need and want to do, I definitely feel that kick of, hey, I'm being incongruent with who I am or who I'm supposed to be or what my higher self is.
And the question, the intuitive leadership question is, why am I letting this day get away from me? Letting myself catch up. I have to interrupt this body pattern. Why am I letting this day get away from me? What is happening intuitively? Am I feeling rejected? Am I feeling nervous? Am I nervous to put something out there and be rejected? Am I feeling lonely? What is happening? We're going to get into that in the next part, but that you've got to like interrupt that pattern, which is intuitive leadership.
Nice.
Because like you said, like you have a consistent and predictable result that you are going to have days get away from you. That's a guaranteed, consistent, predictable habit you have right now. So like, we've got to change that, right? And that's not magically going to happen. Like, you've got to choose it.
But that can also come in the form of the fact that you just like, you need that rest, you know, like, so for me,
this is intuitive. I'm talking
Mhm.
to James specifically because I know James and this is something specific. Yes. For you, I would
Okay.
not say that.
because like for me, with all the amount of overtime I work on top of my job, you know, it's basically a job and a half, like another
Yeah. So for
part-time
you,
job.
the thing
It's
I would
like
say is,
it's
why am I
pure
working this
exhaustion.
overtime?
Same here.
Yeah, it's
But
pure
then for you, the
exhaustion.
thing I would say, Janine, is why am I working this overtime? And do I need this overtime? Is there actually time that I could be using for my meditation, for my connection, that's going to lead me intuitively guide me to an idea that I could do? Why am I doing that? That would be the next thing.
I'm doing it to get more money to pay off my debt so I can move forward.
But could there be another way? Could there be an idea that I connected and that could actually be more money, like a $10,000 payment, one-time payment that could pay my debt off quicker than all this overtime, and something that I love? Me
Yeah.
doing connection, communicating on this. Could that be? I don't know. Just asking the question. We're going to get into that in this next part.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take a 2-minute break. Is that okay with you guys? I know we've been sitting here and it takes a second. So let's take a 2-minute break. Let's be back at 6:10 my time, whatever time that is for each of you.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the bathroom. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to go through an example together. We kind of went to this, we'll do it. So, okay, where do you feel like you're constantly afraid to take a risk in your life? A lot of you, it's to leave your job, it looks like, but
Yep.
we'll each, okay. So what do you feel like you wish your life was like?
I wish I had like the time freedom to work the way that works best for me, not on somebody else's schedule.
And what would that look like?
Sleeping in if I need to sleep in, having time to get the exercise in, working fewer hours because I can generate more with that amount of structured time that I put in. So just having more freedom to live my life the way that I want.
Okay, and what's stopping this?
Money.
Okay, so let's think about that. If we go into intuition, right? If you tune in, do you really intuitively feel like, let's tap in together? Like all of us can tap in, because I know three of us, that's the kind, because you're not leaving your job or need to leave your job. But okay, so if I tap into this and I go, is it ultimately true why I can't live the way I want from money? Yes or no? What does it say for each of you?
No.
Okay. James, Don? No?
Yeah, I mean, definitely more money would help, help me accomplish what I want and need to accomplish.
Okay, so, but I want to go into, so James says, yes, that's his main reason. Janine and Dawn, you felt something different. So what, like when you're saying like with working out, right? Like there's not going to be a magical wand that comes, right? And just magically does it. Intuition is the moment to moment guidance. So when this boss or manager, like you said, Dawn, is saying, I told you, great, I really don't remember it. in the future, could you send me an email when you change it or a text message? So I actually have it, because I'm really, trying to organize my life a little bit differently, and it would mean a lot to me. That would be you not being afraid to take a risk. You actually are wishing your life was this way, so that you know what time you need, so you can use that time to get where you want to go. And there's nothing stopping that by you simply communicating. That's one example. So like Janine, yours would be exercising. What you just said, that was one thing you said, but I could say many things.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're afraid to take this time because you can't get overtime, right? Well, by you doing overtime and not exercising, that's leveraging X amount of energy, which you're still not getting back because you're not working your metabolism, not working out your body. So you're losing 4X the amount of time if you were to not take overtime, use that for a 1 hour work hour, and then now have, let's say, 2 hours of energy to create. There has to be a point when I go no to this 1 or 2 hours of overtime and yes to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not so much like when I said that money is the holdup. It's not so much that like money or the lack of money is the holdup. It's like replacing where the money comes from. So it's like, of course, I need to have money coming in to pay my, to have a roof over my head and to have my car, pay my so-called bills. It's just a matter of making that shift and replacing where that money's coming from. That's the holdup.
Yeah. And that is only going to be solving into intuition to get the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And James, like with money, when you're saying like, yeah, more money, you're still not touching intuition, because intuition would never say money. You're giving so much power to money. Like you're giving, like money is a piece of paper, literally, like it's a paper. So you are trusting money more than you're trusting yourself. You're backing money, which is a man-made manufactured thing, more than your heart, more than this communication channel of God source universe. So there's your biggest question is how am I getting so disconnected where I don't trust myself, where I don't hear this voice, where it's going to guide me where I need to go to create what I need to create. Because I'm being of service. If I'm offering what I need to say, if I'm creating, if I'm sharing truth, the money's just it's a byproduct. When you impact someone's life, when you change their life, when someone really feels so resonated with what you're sharing, they're going to want to pay you. It's a no-brainer. They have to. So yours would be, why am I afraid to take the risk to sit in silence? And why am I doing all these things like overtime or going traveling or doing whatever, when I actually need to sit here in silence and quiet and be with my own thoughts? Why am I avoiding that and giving my power to so many other things?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that gets crowded out. So
it can't anymore. So it was right. That would be an interruption to the pattern, right? It was a pattern or was something, but now my body's going to move in this way.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through yours too, Denise? Because I know that yours is a little bit different.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to go? What was yours?
Okay, you're talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know. What's stopping me is
what are you constantly afraid to take a risk of? So each of theirs was like leaving their job. I know that yours is a little bit different.
Well, my concern is money too. Especially there's currently making money. My retirement status could mean that, that's you're on a fixed income. And so I want to burst out of that bubble and no to that. I don't really think that, but so far I have not garnered a different flow of money.
Okay, so your risk would be your risk is putting myself out there to feel like I have a service that is, I don't want to say worthy, but that's where worthy to be compensated for, so I can do whatever I want. So yours would be, okay, where can I share? What problem, what service, what offering can I give? Is it a program? Is it a one-on-one medicine, woman workshop? Is it a body? Is it somatic? Is it a healing session? What is this thing that I can offer that I have at a price point that feels alive, that I can share, and I'll receive payment from that?
Okay, it's
and that would be your intuitive guidance. You've got to tap into what that is.
Okay.
Because there's
Okay.
nothing stopping that once you tap in. And the way to do it is, here's what I offer. You can do a Calendly link, Calendly, Calendly.
Say it again.
Calendly, Caldly, Calendly, something like that. You Google it, it'll come up.
Calendly.
Yeah, there you go.
DEY.
You know, they can book times on my calendar, you know, for 50 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, it's $30 for a healing session, for a medicine woman session, for a somatic session, for a weight session, whatever that it is. You know, they can do it right then. You just hook up PayPal or you hook up Stripe and it goes into your account. You know, that would be like a really easy way. You just have to figure out your offer.
I put it in the chat, Nisi.
Um,
It's a way to get people to book appointments with you.
okay. All right, thank you.
Mhm. So part 2, this is embodiment. So what is embodiment?
The full acceptance of it within yourself.
I love that. I felt that. What about you? Anyone else?
I just
Not
heard
all
that
of you.
term recently. I'm not sure.
You what?
Yeah, I first heard the term embodiment from like another mentor of mine. I haven't quite gotten a grip on to what
Okay.
it is.
So embodiment is a feeling, a sensation from within, the knowing. It's intuition. It's that knowing. Embodiment is, this is what I know to be true without a shadow of a doubt, because I know it, because I know it, because I know it, because I know it. And there's nothing you can do to convince me otherwise. And embodiment will look a little bit different for everyone, but it's the people that you meet when you just go into a restaurant or you go into whatever, and you're just like, oh my God, who is that person? You're so memorized by them. It's because they're embodied. They're letting intuition, a source greater than them, guide them, move them, feel them, sensation them, lead them. It's not manufactured, not thinking, what do I order on the menu? Where do I go? They're not having all these roadblocks in life. How do I make money? Where should I go? Why is this happening? There's not these roadblocks. It just flows. This is what I want to create, so I'm going to do it. This is the email. This is what's coming through. Here's what's happening. Here's the share. Here's the blog. Here's the thing. There's no questioning. There's no logic. There's no whatever. It just is the mystical experience, the fantasy. Here's what it was. Here's what it is. I have no idea. Do you see this thing that's right there or no? Like, you just do it. You're at home. You're at peace within your body. There's no disturbance. There's no disease. There's no uneasiness. There's no like frustration within yourself. And you can only have confidence and create consistent and predictable. This would be a great way to think about this for each of you, whatever yours is. When you have the car and you know you're going to always get a parking spot, right? Okay, so I have that. I know what that feels like. I know what that knowing, because of a knowing. I'm embodying it. I'm at peace with it. I'm at home with it. No one's getting in my way about this. I don't care what your frequency is, like, just shush. Now I want to transfer this same thing. Now I'm just going to transfer it to my business, transfer it to my career, transfer it to my whatever. Same feeling. Now, if I have a knowing, because I'm a medicine woman, for me, I'm a mystical being, I'm a magical creature. I'm great at digital marketing from soul. I'm a, meditation. I'm a multidimensional being. I'm all these things. You can feel it. It's alive. It's oozing out of me. I don't even have to make it up. It's just coming right out of me. If I even stopped trying right now, it wouldn't stop. And so when I'm doing that, how do I have that feeling? Not how, but where is that feeling? Where's that offering that just comes? Because I know that I'm getting the parking spot, just like I know that I'm going to share or say this, and I know that the money or the people are going to come. Just as I know the parking spot. It's the same thing, whatever each of yours is. Like you have a knowing that Colleen is always going to have nails that are a little exotic. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? That's a thing we all know. So how can I transfer that knowing into a sale, into a business, into an offering, into a creation, into an expression? Same thing. And I don't care if my mind gets in the way. It's not going to be a person getting in my way this time saying, oh, the parking spot's not there. It's going to be my own mind. My mind trying to tell me, no, you can't say that. No, you can't offer that. No, whatever. Mind, shut the hell up. This is what's happening. I'm here in my body and I know it to be true. So I don't care, because I'm going to take the action. This is the feminine. I received it and now I'm moving the body. Same thing. You guys do it in all different parts of your life, and now you just have to do it with the purpose, the mission, the sole reason that you're here. Do you feel it? Does that make sense? Does that resonate? Okay, next part. How often are you doing something from a place of not wanting to do it? 100% of the time, James?
Not 100%. But yeah, I've had that happen. Where it's like I feel like I should be doing something rather than, you know,
Like, no, you're just doing something. Like an example, like I don't listen to voicemails. Like, I don't care how many times someone leaves me a voicemail. It deletes. I literally, I think it automatically deletes. Like, I don't even think I have it. Like, it's just not going to happen. I will not do it. Something else I will not do, right? I do not do sales calls. I do not do sales calls. I've not built this multiple six-figure business or empire through sales calls. I will not do it. Will not do it. I didn't want to do rush hour. I changed it. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't have a lot of things I do that I don't want to do anymore. But you know, what is those things? And however often you're doing that, you are having an incongruency, which is ruining your confidence, which is not letting you tap into your intuition, which means you're disembodied. So of course, you feel like you have to do something to make money because you're building this whole life off of a lie to yourself. So embodiment is noticing, like, I just keep going back to the parking example because you guys all related, but example of like, no, you're not going to tell me I'm not getting a parking spot. Shut up. This is like to your own mind. What am I doing that I don't want to do? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing overtime? No, I'm not doing this anymore. There's a line in the sand. I will do it half a million times that I'm no matter what, I'm going to get up and work out. I'm going to do that 2 extra hours, whatever that it is. I'm not doing it just because I need money. That's a false program. I'm interrupting the simulation. I'm moving the body differently. You know, it's a more personal one, but I can share, you know, how often have we been in a relationship with someone and we haven't really wanted to go to dinner? We haven't wanted to be intimate, or we haven't wanted to whatever, but we still did it because we felt like we had to. You know, and if you're doing that, that's how disconnected you are from self. And if you're that disconnected from intuitive self, how could you be in this place of creation and magic and miracles and everything that's happening in your career success from intuition when you're forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do? You can't have both. You can't be having oil and water. You can't like be jumping off of the thing into this beautiful lake, but you're like sitting here in a little corner and not even willing to go to the beautiful cliff to see the overview of it. If I feel called and led to go on an event and I even have $50 in my account and the account, and it's $50 to go to the event, I'm spending the $50 because I feel it within me and I know I'm going to make that money back when I go to the event. It's that deep of a career commitment. I'm going to post about being a medicine woman. I'm going to post about, you know, that I, you know, use drugs recreationally in college, which I have done before. I'm going to post about, you know, a podcast episode that I did that was on monogamy versus open relationships, not polyamory, but open. You know, I did that. I did, you know, oh my God, should I do it? Should I not? I had so much feedback on that. So many amazing things, you know, like why did I not want to do that? Why would I force myself to talk about a podcast that's linear thinking that I don't want to talk about today? A podcast on loneliness and, what's it called? Rejection, whatever that it was. But how often, like, do it because you feel called and led and whatever, it's inside of you. It has to come out. I'm not doing it because I have to. It feels good to express it. So until you really look at these patterns of how long you're making yourself do something you don't want to do because you think you have to, the longer you're moving, you're creating a valley, large valley of you and intuition, of you and your own relationship with self, which is really disconnecting you from everybody else, because the quality of your life from week 1 is the quality of your communication, which equals quality of relationships. And you can't have a good quality relationships if the communication with yourself sucks, which intuition is communication. You're not listening. So if you're not listening, how can you have action? Does this make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
makes sense.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's like, so Colleen, I was reading your, a lot of your blog posts over the weekend and, or over the last week. And in your emails. So a lot of the times you end up saying, you know, how have I done all this stuff without having sales pages, without having created the course yet, and without having done all these things that, you know, the entrepreneur world tells you you need to do. You know, so you got to, you know, create your sales page, you got to have your website, you got to have the elevator pitch, you got to have all these things and stuff. And it's funny when you can step back and realize the difference between the two, because my initial thought pattern when I read that is like, you know, that like, how does that work? Like, that can't be possible. You know, because you don't have the landing page for somebody to go to. You don't have, I'm sure you have a way that you introduce yourself and tell people what you do, which is similar to the elevator pitch, but it's not the basic rehearsed pitch. And there was one person who had said that another mentor that or a membership program that I'm in, what she talks about is we've gotten into this pattern where we want to get so elaborate about how we explain what we do that nobody can understand what we do anymore, because we're trying to make ourselves so unique from everybody else.
Which is kind of like what we had in the very beginning before you were saying like, okay, now I'm going to do it where I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, in a way, like it's in a way like, it's like, yes, we do all these things. And I don't want to say like, you know, that you have an experience or you don't have all this experience. You do have all these things. You do know how to do whatever, but it doesn't matter if I don't feel it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, and the best mentors I've worked with, they do a lot of things that they never sell you on. The reason they're so good is because they do things like there's one mentor I can tell you, I don't even know. God, I think for like 8 months, I was paying him maybe $800 a month. You never talk to the guy. You get one WhatsApp message a month. That's a word or whatever, but he meditates like 16 hours a day. He's literally like, you paying him just to be for him in the quantum space to like clear your field and to put intention to whatever. And then from the one word he sends you or a sentence he sends you, it like lets you know. But Jesus, when I did that, my whole life was changing. Oh my God. I was like, relationship was one, if this was going here. I mean, that was like a huge change in my whole business. Those 8 months. Like it was so crazy. And so, right. But why is it so weird? Like I don't even know how many people he has. But so who told you that, you know, he's working, but it's not, because that's how his purpose is. Mm-hmm. So looking at, you know, how often you do something from a place of not wanting to do it, and looking at what if you could just let it be easy? What if you could just express what you want to express and say, and trust that that's enough? So again, if you're doing something that you don't want to do, like this job, you want to go into, okay, I have to get up and do this job for this paycheck until I decide whatever. So what is my body and mind requesting of me right now? I'm being forced, it feels like, to do something I don't want to do. What is my body and mind requesting of me right now? Is it requesting love? Is it requesting support? Is it requesting attention? Is it requesting mantras? Is it requesting whatever? This boss is saying that they told me something they didn't. What is my body and mind requesting? That I need to know a schedule change because I'm planning my exit. I don't need to tell them this, but I need to know. So can you email me or text me in a nice way with love? Right now, I'm feeling nervous about the social media world, the digital world, but I want to make not a fixed income. So what is my body and mind requesting? That social media is going to be easy. The digital world is going to be funny. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to be intuitively guided and led to the right systems that make this so easy. Like whatever it is that you need, you know, asking for that, like requesting that. What do you need? So I need to feel like money. Okay. What is money bringing me? That's the deeper question. Embodiment. What is money representing? It's probably representing security, safety, stability. That's what it's really representing. Okay, so how can I feel stable, secure right now? And this is asking this to your intuition to let the intuition come back and answer you. And then you can interrupt your body pattern into going to what you want. Does that make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. Questions? Looks like you have a question.
I think my body's requesting rest.
Yep.
Okay. Love that.
Do you work 20 hours of overtime a week too?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Are you gonna? I hear you saying move your body. I don't quite get what that really means. And I know you're going to explain that to us, right? More than this?
Yeah. So what, like when I'm saying move your body, when I'm specifically talking about with, well, James and Janine, it was with their job. So when I was talking about in the very beginning, like moving your body, when we go back to this slide, hold on, masculine, moving the body into a state of action, right? What I was saying, right? Like so let's make it relatable to you, because maybe that's why it's not making sense. So what would be something where you feel like you want to move your body into not just a fixed income. You want to move it into like an entrepreneur type of space, right? Where you have like this, an entrepreneur like kind of thing going for you, right?
Yes.
So what would be like right now when you wake up, what is it you usually do? Like, what do you usually do throughout your day?
I have many either Zoom meetings, dance classes, consultations with someone who knows something more about what I do, and then I glean some information. So I always have myself scheduled similar to how I was working, so that I have flow all day long. I mean, like I said last week, I don't know how to be a non-working human being. So I keep titillating myself so that like I might just hula hoop. I have a dance class in the morning through Zoom. And based from the 2 years I've danced with him through Zoom, his house, my house. Yesterday we show up at an event and we walk out on the dance floor. I hula hoop, we're swing dancing, holding hands, and it's a coupling organically. And it grew from Zoom.
So I would say like moving your body for you. So you moving your body into a state of action would be like, you need to begin sharing what solution or service you offer to get clients, right? So you need to have like a specific way that you're not just like getting up and doing like in a bad, like I'm not saying it's a bad way, but hula hoop or Zoom or consult, that's great. But what is your business name? What is your thing that you're doing? What is the solution? What is that you're offering? Where is the payment link? Where is the thing that people can enroll? Like what's that look like, right? So I need to move my body instead of going into the state of, I'm going to go on this Zoom, I don't know how to work and like you're into that state. No, I'm not working anymore. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm fulfilling my soul destiny. I'm fulfilling my soul alignment. I'm here to, intuitively be guided. I just keep saying medicine woman because I feel like that's what you introduce yourself as. And that's what I like. Like I feel like for you, this is my intuition. It would be like someone doesn't feel well and they're looking for holistic, things. And they would have, they could have a consultation that's, $50 or something for 50 minutes. And then you could upsell them into like a program that you're going to do, or, however many times they're going to see you. And that $50 could go towards that larger program, whatever that it is. But your body moving your state into action in a different way would be like, you're no longer just doing the things you're doing because that's what you've done. It's like, you're moving your body into the state of purpose, into the state of being intuitively guided, into the state of, okay, this is where I meant to do and be led and be guided so that I receive the money that I want to receive off of what I want to do.
Okay.
Does that resonate?
Yes. Okay.
So that's what I was saying in each of theirs. It was a little bit differently how I worded it for you guys, for your jobs, but it's the same application. But do you see how it's the same application, you guys, or no?
Yeah, it's not the physical movement of your body. It's starting to take action in the areas that will help get you what it is you want, what your intuition is guiding you to.
Yes. Exactly. Great. And you can see it, you can feel it, like but it is this, I don't want to like pretend, you guys, it's not this like passive thing that happens. It is an active state where you are participating in this thing. Listen, like, no, you're not going to tell me this parking space isn't going to be there. Body, listen, we are moving in this direction. We are not working a 9 to 5. This is not your job. This is the paycheck. Let's move it. Let's get it. Let's like, sometimes you do talk to yourself like this. Like, it looks a little nuts. But like, it's the same way of like, I'm going to fight for my relationship with myself. It's like the movement of getting you into where you need to be going. I'm going to break this pattern. I'm not doing what I'm always doing. I'm not just going to brush my teeth the same way. I'm not going to do this. Like I said, I don't do sales calls. I've had, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 client I had, when I had Global Citizen University, and I never did a sales call. I never got on the phone with this person before they gave me $100,000. Never. Like, you move your body in that way of what you want. Now I do have a whole writing. I have a whole system. I had a video they watched, and from the video they came back into the application. Like, there was something else, but I'm saying, like, who says you have to be on a phone call? Who says you have to be in a consultation to get money, to do a sales call? That doesn't feel alive for you. If you don't feel intuitively guided, why are you doing that? if you don't want to be like, I do this nervous system work or do whatever like that, like you said it, right? But it doesn't feel, I didn't feel it. I don't even know if you felt it. Like you said it because that's what you think, but then it's like, when you said the woman with the movement or the hula hoop, like that sounded interesting. I was like, wow, I can feel that. That's like getting the body, moving your voice, moving your body into a different state of where you're intuitively guided for your career, not just doing what you're supposed to be doing. Supposed to be.
Okay.
See, and
when you're doing things you don't want to do, which is what I was saying here, like, I'm trying to think. I really have to think. Okay, here was one that a networking event that was like a virtual networking event in February. And she wanted to connect after, and I kind of heard it. And she wanted to sell me into connect me to this woman. Janine, you know her. She does like the colored cards or whatever. Like I don't know. It's like a very masculine paradigm way of doing business. And I was like, yeah, great. I know her. I've listened to her. It's like not worth being connected. Appreciate it. She's like, no, you need to be connected. And I'm like, hold on.
I don't.
Like, and she's like trying to let me know. And then she's like, you need to be connected with this guy and this guy. And then like, she's confirmed, like emailing all these things on LinkedIn of people I need to meet. And I'm like, I don't want to meet these people. I don't need to be. And then like, I get on the phone with them and they're like, oh, I should be on your podcast. I'm like, who are you? If I wanted you on my podcast, I would invite you. Like, I don't like this forceful energy and I'm not doing it. So, right. What is my body mind requesting? I'm not doing phone calls. What is my body mind requesting? I don't need to be around those environments type people. I can listen and tune in and instead create, instead write, instead do a post, do a podcast, repost something, recreate something, put something on sale. That fuels me, gives me life.
See, and I feel that a lot because when you start talking about having to get on sales calls and like convincing people to buy into you, it's like my body cringes. It literally like withdraws into itself. That is something I do not want to do.
Yeah, you don't have to. There's other things you can do, like a free webinars or free trainings. There's other things you do or a free Zoom, happy hour or something like this. But there's a million ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is embodiment.
And for me, it's written words. I do very well with written words and writing.
So like a sequential, whatever. So that's like embodiment. For you, as when it comes to a career and it comes to success and it comes to communication. Like Calendly would probably be a great one for you if you liked it. So like I have, 2 hours a day. These are the 2 hours a day that people can book consultations, whether it's free, it's $30, $10, whatever. I learn about what's going on. You can have like questions they have, questions they answer before the consultation. Great. This is what sounds like is going on. Here's the system I would put you through. It's a 6-week, 6-month, 3-month, whatever. This $10 that you put here will go towards that. Here's the, amount that it is, minus the $10 or 20 or 50 or whatever it is, where do I send the invoice? From PayPal. Like what email do I send the invoice? An embodiment is only acting from this place. So it's like making a commitment. And it really is like, I'm not going to do something I don't want to do. Like for an example, this is an example I can give you. So like for an example, for my course Meow, right? I did a really good sales copy. It's my brand new course on digital marketing. I've never done a course on selling and marketing like this. I'm so thrilled and pumped about it. It's going to be absolutely epic. And I wrote the sales copy and then I did a live video. I literally downloaded the live video and put that on the sales copy. That's what felt true and alive for me. And it's selling. I only acted from the place that I wanted to communicate and share. I didn't like force myself to write some big sales copy that needed to be written. Like I literally just wrote what felt like it needed to be written. Like, even in the audios that I've recorded for it and the videos that I've recorded for it, I didn't like force myself to speak about anything I didn't want to speak about. I didn't force like anything. I don't know. I get just like embodiment, intuition in your career. Every time you force yourself to think, I need to do this to get money. I need to do this so I'm not on a fixed income. I need to do this so that whatever. I need to do this. So whatever. That's not embodied. Embodied is this is where I want. Let me ask. Let me listen from this place of listening. I'm only going to act from that place. That is the only thing that's going to advance your career. Because if you're acting from a place of what you should do, like I should say that I do the nervous system and I do this and I do somatic and I have a PhD and I have a master's and I'm an author and I'm a top 1,000. Yes, I said all those things, but they're really irrelevant. Not irrelevant, but you know what I'm saying? Like until you know why, cool. Wow, you're an overachiever. Great. The only reason that I have all these courses or things is because I act in this place. I listened, I'm excited, I'm inspired.
I think I heard from Katrina Ruth that it's like if you're trying to make money with whatever endeavors you got going on, you're less likely to make. You got to be completely unconscious of it and make it completely separate, and know that it will
Yeah.
follow from, you know, whatever it is you're doing.
Your career, like what you're taught and like, right, is like, you need to go to school to do this, to get this career, to then do this. The truth, your intuition is because I have no option. It is oozing out of me. It is so passionately coming inside of me. There is this passion about medicine woman, about mysticism with Dawn, and the visions and the fantasies with James, with your podcast, with Janine, with your writing. It is so passionately oozing in me, out of me, that if I don't do this, I feel like I might die. If I don't talk about this and I don't tell you to shut up, whatever you're doing, because I'm going to get this parking spot, or shut up because I need to tell you this, so that your life can be transformed, or that this is just coming through me because it's coming through me. So just hush. Like if I don't have that, I don't know, like I'm not going to be well. I'm going to feel unwell. And I'm not going to feel unwell. So I'm going to let this come. And until you get to that point of like, I don't care, because the money will come. I've had people literally that don't even know, like, I just heard you talk about that, how your podcast, this, that. I've had people write me checks real time. Like I've been at coffee stores and be like, I just need to write you this because I just overheard everything you said. It's because it's just coming. It's intuitively coming. It's a fountain. It's just here. It's there. I'm embodied in it. It's happening. It's the feminine listening and communicating. I'm hearing, I'm there, I'm alive. I'm feeding off of the relationship with each of you. Like you each have shared something with me, right? And I keep bringing it up and I keep oozing out what's coming through me. It's I listened to you, I heard, I was present with my masculine intuitive in you. And I'm listening and receiving information, and whatever I'm saying, I don't even always remember because I'm channeling for each of you to receive what needs to be received. That's embodiment. My mind's totally out of the way. I'm not worried about offending. I'm not worried about being too much. I'm not worried about, oh my God, I'm too loud. I'm too this. I'm too whatever. I don't have an option. That is your intuitive career. And until you keep going back, well, money, or if I had more money, or I have this, you're not into, that's not intuition. Or how do I do this in the technical world? Or how do I get here? How is everything? Okay, I'm hearing a lot of how in my mind. Let me connect back in. What is my intuition needing? What is my mind requesting? She needs love. She needs attention. What does my intuition need love and attention about? She feels like you're really focused on overtime and on money and on this. She really wants you to express a writing, to express this, to have an offer, to sell something, to have a link of payment. She wants to feel nourished. You don't have a way people can pay you. How is money going to flow to you? You have to have a link somewhere, something. I mean, hello, how is money getting your bank account, right? Someone has it, you know, like the same is true with intuition. Like, how is someone going to know you have a partner if you never talk about them? Like, would you like it if your partner never talked about you? You're just off in the MIA zone? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't personally. And it's only acting from this place, from that place. I just want to, when that life is in you. It's not going, I'm going to go live, or I'm going to write a post because I feel like I need to, or I have to, or I'm going to do a podcast episode because I have to. It's because of like, oh, right now I don't feel inspired. Let me tune in. I feel like I might be rejected, or I feel like just disconnected. Okay, how can I get connected? This is the mind, body, soul. Where do mind, body, gut? Where do I feel out of connection? What's happening here? Okay, how can I realign myself? Week 1, week 2, confidence. What do I feel? What's happening inside of me? How is inside of me needing to be expressed outside of me? Sometimes it looks like writing a post on something you don't want to write a post about, but it's happening in here, so I need to be congruent. Sometimes it's having a conversation you don't want to have. It's asking your manager, text me, email me when you do that. Acting from that place, only this place of embodiment of this. questions overall on this week, and then we have a practice.
So much.
This is a big week because it's not like last time was a lot of information. This is a lot of like, it's being.
Mhm. I really, I totally feel it. And it's given me a lot,
Yes.
it's given me a lot of ideas of, like, I don't need to have outlines on how to write a book or any kind of structured things. I need to be guiding people to do what feels best for them. So it's like the reason why somebody can't get something out of them, or they don't get somewhere, is because they're not feeling it. They're trying to be too structured about it.
Yep. And so for you, what's the way that you're going to express this? What's your offer? What's your payment link? What's your thing?
Well, I'm in the process of my first set of courses is, how to write your manuscript. So you end up with a whole, and then the add-ons for that is the next part is you get your book published and it's in your hands. You can add
Okay,
on
so
a
I
whole
would say, what's
marketing
step one?
piece.
What's the date of this thing that's being launched? Like, you can ask yourself, you don't have to say this now, but I'm feeling, when's the date of this being launched? How much is it? And where's my PayPal link?
I don't have that done yet. We're
Okay,
working
well,
on the
that's a
website.
speed.
We're working on the website, and the website.
You don't need a website. Why do you don't need a website?
Because I'm planning this big old huge launch with all this branding.
But why? Is that what your intuition would really want?
Because it's cool.
Mhm. Logical, masculine, systematic way,
hmm
which is fine.
But now I'm wondering, when you're building out your courses, so when you actually put them out to sell, because this is kind of where I was in my head, is ultimately I want to have this big membership base with all of these different videos on how to do all these different things. Because my struggle has been over the last 10 years is like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to go create online courses. I don't know how to do whatever.
It's not that hard. You just turn on Zoom, you turn on the live, you turn on the video, you talk, and then you upload it to YouTube unlisted, and you can just send it week 1. You don't need a member, like, like you kind of have it, but you don't need it. And again, this is another thing of how your masculine systematic thing, predictable results, is blocking your intuition.
Exactly. So that's kind of where I'm headed, is building this big membership base that people can buy into.
But
that just has
why is it
all
where
of
you're
these.
headed? Instead, interrupt the pattern. What can I be right now? What can I do right now? How can I express right now? Where's the payment link right now? That's the intuitive lead, like right now. It doesn't need a process. It doesn't need a sequence. It's right here. It's available in this moment. It's coming through me. It needs to be expressed whether I like it or not. Like my course, Me Out. It's my brand new signature course. I don't think I'm going to do a membership. I think it's literally like week 1, week 2, week 3. Like I'm just going to do email. All my courses have membership. I don't think this one is. I don't know why. I just don't feel it. Didn't feel called. Didn't feel led. Didn't feel inspired.
So do you then create each week's course as that week is approaching, or do you have the whole course built when you go to sell it?
In the past, every course is different. In the past, it like depends. This is my brand new signature one. So this is like a lot of things that I've like combined over the years. But yeah, like this has like an outline of like what I'm talking about. They're audios, they're not videos. Every other course has usually been videos, and it's been live. This one's not live.
I'd imagine in terms of becoming embodied that people have different ways of making or letting that happen, or getting into that flow state. I mean, what have you done, or what has everybody else done to?
Well, we kind of went through that in week 1, right? We went through like the things to do, right? So you can review those slides or review that video.
Yeah.
And I think this one, I mean, we went like, it's always different. So you can't like, it's not what any of us do. It's what you do. What do you do when you're feeling like, yeah, I'm a mother freaking rock star?
Yeah, usually I'm like, walking just purposely and intensely,
There you go.
or I'm just very, or I'm just closing my eyes and just trying to take in, trying to meditate.
So every day you should be doing a walk like that, probably in your morning, or, maybe 2 walks a day, like to really get in that, like stay in that state. You can keep yourself accountable, meditate, that should be a daily thing. These are daily non-negotiables, right? This is your relationship with yourself. If you had a relationship with a partner, you would want them to pay attention to you and to honor you and whatever. So why aren't you doing it with yourself?
Yeah, I think for me, it's more being busy and disorganized, but that's yeah,
That's
on
that's
the
not
whole
true.
thing.
That's like Janine's saying. It's not true. It's not true that she needs branding or needs logoing, right? That's like you getting distracted.
Right.
Well, I think a lot of it for us is, you know, we want to serve others. We want to be helpful. We want to improve for them or help them improve and stuff. And so we put them first. You know, we're willing to set aside what's best for us in order to be of
Yeah, and
service
you
to
can't do
somebody
that.
else.
Yeah. If you don't put you first, you don't take care of you can't take care of anyone else. Do you guys have questions, Don? Yes.
No, not at the moment.
I can see your whole face looks totally different. Like you look lighter, Don. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any, no.
Okay. So we're going to go on. So application, this is the application that we'll do. We can all do this. So let's see. Okay. So each of you are going to do this individually, but who wants to go first? Somebody? Dawn,
I'll go
you're going
first.
first.
I'll go first. It
Oh,
doesn't
you're going
matter.
first? Okay. I was like,
I don't
okay,
care.
Janine. So what is a place with your life you're unhappy with?
Oh, having to work a job.
Okay. So let's tap in. So let's close your eyes. Let's breathe through your nose. Let's roll your shoulders up and back. Let's breathe out. What's making me unhappy with my job? What comes up?
I feel confined,
What does confinement feel like? What do you mean by that?
trapped, unsatisfied, unfulfilled. Unchallenged, uncreative.
Okay. And so what would it feel like to take action to live a more creative life, to live a more fulfilled life, to live a more expansive life?
Work less at the job.
And what else?
Work harder, for the lack of a more meaningful word. I'm building the business that I want, the lifestyle
Okay.
that I
What does
want.
what does your mind embody desire to feel supported in working less? What does it desire to feel supported?
More time.
Time for what? What would you do? What would you do with the time?
To work on my business,
What actions?
record my online courses, post on social media, gain a community.
Perfect. So you just got what you need to do is very simple. Record videos, post on social media, make a fan page.
Yeah, and I've done that.
Yeah, all
in
the rest of that was
steps.
noise. Yeah, but all the rest of that, for us to get to what was truth, the rest was just noise. The rest was just, your intuition was so clear. That's it. Do you feel it? Yeah. Okay, who wants to go next?
We'll give it a shot.
Okay, close your eyes. Roll your shoulders, breathe in, roll your shoulders up and back, breathe out. Maybe crack your neck, move around in your body, feeling present and alive. What is a place in your life you're unhappy with?
Current job and money situation.
Okay, let's tap in together. So let's breathe in. What does money in your job represent to you?
Stability, security, just covering my bases so I can do what I want me to do and, not have to deal with financial planning fiascos.
Okay, so what does your body and mind desire so they feel supported with stability and security?
The first word that came out was consistency.
Mm. Anything
That's,
else? Anything else or no?
I can't, I'm drawing a blank.
No, perfect. So consistency. So do you feel how the story of money and the story of your job is not true and consistency is the truth?
Yeah, now I see it. Yeah, consistency.
You can feel it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You feel it when you're saying it, like, wow, I'm lying to myself about this, when it's actually consistency and whatever that is, with your mission, with your purpose, with your whatever. So it's like next time you hear your mind go money, 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 whatever it is, you know, you go, no, interrupting the pattern. My body is not doing this. My body is not moving in this place of feeling fear around money. My body is going to move in the place of what does it need to feel consistent right now? What is my body asking so it feels consistent and expressed and then nourished? That would be yours. That's the interruption of the body pattern.
Nice.
All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Okay. So we're going to close our eyes. We're going to breathe in, roll our shoulders up and back, breathe out, the big exhale, move around in our body if we need to, feeling spaciousness, feeling alive, feeling sensations. What is a place in your life you're unhappy with?
My daily routine is it's not jazzy, it's not vibrant.
Okay, so your daily routine. So let's breathe in together. What does your body and mind desire to feel supported in your daily routine?
Some conversation with someone, some clients.
Clients. Okay. And where would these clients be coming from?
My website, my videos, social media, my broadcast, questions that I might pose, stories that I might tell, humor that I will engage them with.
Perfect. Do you see the difference that it wasn't really the daily routine? What it is that actually you being expressed through social media, through online presence, through a broadcast, through whatever. That's actually what's being requested for your daily routine.
Okay.
Do you feel that or no?
You you surmise it. So if that's what you heard, thank you.
Yeah. But do you feel the difference of when you were saying, like, I struggle with daily routine, and then when you were saying like a broadcast, it's like, do you feel the difference in your body when you're saying these things?
Not really, but I know it to be so. So my body doesn't, in this moment, isn't
Feel it.
popping and flaring and changing.
Yeah, it will once you start to do it, but that's good. Done.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You ready, Don? Last but not least.
I'll give it a try.
Okay, so we're gonna breathe in. We're gonna close our eyes. Roll our shoulders up and back. Breathe out. What is a place in your life you're unhappy with?
Quality, consistent time, writing, worrying about money.
Okay. And what is your body and mind desire to feel supported in writing and money in quality?
Peace. And knowing that not so much money, but it's growing
Hmm.
for my benefit. Through my writing work, I mean, writing down in words, I don't feel I get enough moments to do that.
Okay, and what would moments of feeling enough feel like?
Completion of a story or a course or a short ebook or
And what do you feel like with your body and mind? It desires peace to feel supported, right? What's stopping peace?
distractions of, I guess, voices in my head and not listening to myself as far as taking the time, setting the time aside, telling no to people.
So you're like, what you're unhappy with basically is saying no to people and like you not letting peace be in. And you've got to choose it. That's the body interruption we talked about. Same, like you've got to be like, no, body, we're not doing this. This is where we're going. Because your body's asking for peace. Your body needs that, and it needs you to support it in that. Because without that, you're not going to write. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do those things without you feeling like peace and that you have your own back from what you just shared. Do you feel it or no?
Yeah.
So, okay. So the next part that I like, and this is the homework, I will email it and then we'll stay on to the end to figure out this email thing. But anyway, create a daily calendar, just one day. You don't, well, you could do it every day. I would recommend if you want to do it for 7 days and be superb. But at the end of every day before you go to bed, create a daily calendar of your actions. How did you feel during those actions? And then what can you do to move from a more embodied place? So for an example, if you went grocery shopping and you hated it, right? This is something I did. Okay, I hated grocery shopping. What can I do? I can, do Instacart. I could do Amazon Prime delivery, whatever that is, right? That would be something that would move me in a more embodied place because I can use that time to write, to meditate, to be in my own space. And then I want you to bring 3 stories of next week of how you noticed when you were doing something you didn't want to do, but then you tapped into a transition and you did an action from where you wanted to. So that is what I had for this week. Is there any questions? Is there anything you guys want to go deeper on?
Okay, so I need to see that last slide.
Oh, yep. Where you and I are going to stay on so we can figure out this email thing. But here we go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any questions?
Create a daily calendar of only one day, not every.
Yeah,
7 days.
I just do it one day. If you want to do it, like I said, and be super superb, you could do it every day before you go to bed, but one day would be great.
Okay.
All right. Any questions or no?
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Not
I'll
everybody.
pause. Okay. James? Jamie? Okay. All right, then we